Disclaimer.
People who don't get buddy-buddy with your neighbors, why? I was raised in an area where we had no neighbors. Now living in a neighborhood, it drives me crazy to be outside working in the yard with people on all sides. I miss privacy. As a kid, I swore I would never live as far away from things when I grew up. I briefly moved to a city and have been slowly moving farther out for the past 10 years. At this point, we have 2 acres with neighbors only on one side. They're far enough away that if both of us are out we wave, but don't have to actually chat. It's so peaceful. Now my kids can grow up and be annoyed that we are 10 minutes from the grocery store and 30 minutes to downtown. I grew up on a farm 30 minutes from the nearest town. When I left for college, I was like, bye. Never coming back. I now live 4 minutes away from my parents. I couldn't take the city either. My cousin did that and it works for him. It just doesn't work for me, but I'm happy for him. He gave the city a shot but moved back a few years ago for his family. At first, I was annoyed with him. We grew up on neighboring farms, and when our parents were working, we'd all get babysat by grandma. We couldn't hang out with friends if our parents couldn't drive us, so we grew up fairly close. We used to talk about living in the city, so I was surprised when he wanted to move out there. But it works for him, so I've come around to supporting his choices. But it doesn't stop him from judging me for living in a city, lol. Sorry, I like being able to the grocery store or getting something to eat without having to drive so far away. I'm friendly with all my neighbors, but I'm not trying to hang out with them. As an introvert, my home is my refuge. If I were best buds with my neighbor, there would be no escape from constantly seeing them and feeling like I need to chat in order to not seem rude. And you can't say you're busy that day to avoid an outing they invite you to because they can see your car in the driveway from their living room. As a fellow introvert, gracefully saying no consistently feels like trying to hold water in my hands. I can do it, but it takes constant effort, and I often find myself avoiding reasons to be in the situation to need to. Saying no is so draining and exhausting. But not as exhausting as saying yes. That's only when you're doing whatever you say yes to. A no is an instant drain, a yes is a slow and painful experience that happens later. Just went to a pub today as a lone diner and they asked if I wanted to sit at the bar. That's the last place I wanted to be, but I also didn't want to take up a full table and panicked and said yes. I always simply say, no, I'd like a table, and they escort me to the worst table in the house. It is either next to the front door with cold wind gusting in, or next to the kitchen. I guess that is okay versus dealing with the overly friendly bartender who is stuck taking care of all of the people at the bar as well as mixing drinks for those at the tables. I guess I can feel good about being a non-intrusive and easily pleased customer to the barkeep. She did seem to be pretty busy mixing weird and complicated drinks for other customers. Bring a book to read. Always helps me keep people at bay. Not perfect, but better. I'm such an introvert, and my damn one neighbor just convinced me to be introverted in their shed to play darts. I would never go in their house, nor would I want them in mine, but it makes us both feel friendly while throwing sharp objects and talking about our dogs. I must have gotten lucky. My neighbor became my best friend. He was the best man at my wedding, godfather of my kids, and the one guy I can call at 3 a.m. Yep. I think the neighbors might find me a little bit weird because I don't really hang out for neighborhood things. Just not super social. There are 2 guys that live on the street, not together, one is married and the other has a GF that moved in last summer. These dudes are like always out helping the neighbors with yard work and snow removal and all manner of shit. They have fires at the one guy's house 1 to 3 times a month in the summer. I don't help PPL with anything really, and I think the fact that I pay someone to cut my grass gives everyone the idea I'm not down to help chop wood and clear brush. They usually invite me to hang out stuff via a group text to several neighbors. Prob feel obligated because the main hangout spot is on the other side of my fence. I go to maybe half the time. I always have a good time, but I'm pretty introverted when I'm home getting high. I made the mistake of becoming friendly with neighbors when I lived in the Midwest. I joined them, a husband and wife, and a couple friends for drinks one night, a couple weeks before I moved away. Eventually, the friends left and the wife went to sleep. Just the husband and I left. We were drunk and he somehow brought up rape and how most women were asking for it. As a rape survivor, I said something to the effect of, "Guess I was asking for it, then. I'm out," and walked away. Started sobbing as soon as I got inside, as I was fairly drunk and couldn't fucking believe this nice man I'd been friendly with for 18 months had said something like that. I don't think I'll ever socialize with neighbors again. I've lived next door to the same people for 13 years and I just found out both the wife's first name and the family's last name a month ago by accident, misdelivered mail. I'm moving in a couple months and I would have been fine never knowing. Unless my neighbors are really cool, and we have a good amount in common, I want to keep the relationship to just waves, how do you do's, and hey your house is on fire. I'm here for pleasantries and emergencies only. I don't need to hang out with you. Pleasantries and emergencies only. Thank you. I'll be the first to help you, no problem, but leave me alone until then. Same here. I'm a friendly enough guy, just not at all social. Want to wave hello? Sure thing. Need a hand with something? No problem. Want to sit and chat? I'm in the middle of folding my socks. The lady across the street from me at my old house used to bring my garbage cans to and from the curb on trash day. That was nice. But if I ran into her outside, I'd have to talk to her about how she speaks to birds and a hawk warned her about Hurricane Katrina. I bought property that has distance from them for a reason. If I wanted to be closer to humans, I would live in an apartment. Why would I? My home is the one place I am not required to interact with others. I don't want to be bothered and I don't want to bother. I'll be friendly if I pass by them or something, but I'm not going out of my way to befriend them simply because they live near me. Neighbors next to us and directly across the street gossiped about other neighbors within a few days of us moving to the neighborhood and meeting them. Like heavy stuff about affairs, sexual preferences, mental health issues, arguments, etc. Also, one of the neighbor's kids is a disrespectful drama queen. I try to steer my kids away from interacting with this kid, but they live next door. Same reason you don't date someone from work. This right here. I'm polite and say hello, but I don't want them in my business and I don't want to be in theirs. If there's ever a falling out or someone's feathers get ruffled, I don't want to have to feel like I have to avoid them or move. I try to get buddy-buddy with as few people as possible IRL. I like to live a simple life, and new connections beget new obligations. And often, new problems. I wish there was a nice way to explain to the perfectly kind people that want to hang out with me that I don't want any new friends or commitments. I am generally introverted and I really don't need a large group of friends. I need a few loyal close friends that are easy to be around and I can just be myself. Most of those people I have known most my life. 2 I met in college. 1 I met at work. I don't need a bunch of friends just to have more friends. My neighbors that I like are more the type I will stand outside and talk to for a bit and maybe occasionally borrow things from, like a tool, but I don't have. But I don't invite them over and they don't invite me. And we are good with that. Sooner or later they will need something from me, whether it's an item or a favor. My awkwardness will stop me from saying no and they will never be able to return the favor even if they wanted because I am prepared to do everything alone as I have done so all these years. So even if they didn't mean that, they will take advantage of me in the end. So I just choose to not interact with them any more than a simple hello every now and then. I'm a pretty quiet introvert. My home is my sanctuary. I'm not really interested in having the neighbors over for a beer or a barbecue. I want to be left alone to my peace and quiet to watch TV, read, play video games, or just fuck around the house. I'll exchange pleasantries with the neighbors, of course. I'm not rude. But I just have no interest in making them my friends. I just want to be left alone for the most part. Plus, the vast majority of my neighbors are retirees or getting close to it. I doubt they have much in common with a 39-year-old grouch beyond arthritis. 'Cause when I get home, I want to go in and relax. I don't want to stand outside for 15 minutes to an hour listening to the cunt chat shit about how dumb his wife is. True story, by the way. I do not want to know you. I do not want to be your friend and shoot the shit. I'll say hi to be neighborly, but that's it. Any attempt to be my friend gets shot down hard, so there's no misunderstanding. Fuck. That's my neighbor. Every single passing will evolve into a 30-minute conversation, especially with my wife. Can we just smile and wave and go about our business? You can also watch other videos by going to the channel. I will be pleased if you like them.